Hello to all my friends in the United Steelworkers. I wish I could be with you in person. You know, there's nobody I'd rather be with than my labor friends, but I'm afraid this time we're going to have to settle for a video. I want to start by giving a special thank you to International President Leo Gerard and International Secretary Treasurer Stan Johnson for the invitation to speak here today. Now, Leo and I go way back, long before I ever came to Washington. And there aren't too many labor leaders who are smarter, tougher, and more forward-thinking than Leo. Leo, I'm proud to call you my friend. And I also want to give a special shout out to the folks who represent Massachusetts. Go guys! District 4 Director John Shin and international representatives Joe Carlson and Steve Finnegan, Al Pope, Mary Fusco, Lowell Alexander, Dave Orsoro, Donna Shaw, Andrew Slip. You all have been great partners from the beginning. You know, I remember early in my campaign when Joe Carlson stood up and introduced me to all of his neighbors. And all I can say is I am very glad to know that you have all got my back, and I promise I'll have yours. You know, when I was growing up, the labor movement was a powerful and effective advocate for the working men and women of America. About a third of America's workforce was dues-paying, card-carrying union members. And whether or not individual workers were members of unions or not, all working people benefited from strong unions. Labor negotiations on wages, on health care benefits, on pensions helped lift the floor for everyone. Wages went up and families got stronger. And as workers' incomes and benefits were rising, our GDP kept going up too. In other words, as our families got richer, our country got richer. And as our country got richer, our families got richer. But for too many decades now, labor has been under attack. Today, labor unions, particularly in the private sector, represent far fewer workers, making it harder for labor to fight for the kinds of changes that will lift wages and benefits for all workers. You know, there are unions that are just hanging on by their fingernails to protect wages, benefits, and jobs of members that they do have. Public sector unions also face a constant barrage of layoffs, cuts, and givebacks. Right now, Washington is rigged to work for those who have already made it. But I'm here to change that. In the 1950s and the 1960s, when the labor movement was at its height in this country, the playing field wasn't quite as tilted as it is today. Labor unions were there to help fight for the advances that shaped the last century and that guaranteed opportunity for everyone. Labor unions were there on the GI Bill, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, Medicare, Medicaid, the Voting Rights Act, the Clean Air Act, and the Clean Water Act. It was labor on the front lines. If we're going to get back to the days of tackling big challenges together, then we need to make sure that unions can get organized and continue to be a strong voice for hardworking families. Powerful interests have waged a coordinated campaign in Congress, in our courts, and in our state houses to make it harder for workers to unionize. We need to reform our labor laws for the 21st century to give working people the opportunity to decide whether they want to be represented or not, and then to be able to obtain that representation without threats or reprisals. Now look, I know that labor law reform won't be easy, but it starts with conversations just like this one. Conversations about what unions do and why they are vital to the American economy and to working families across this country. Labor law reform also depends on good ideas and on proposals that can work. The ideas and the proposals that you bring forward as labor leaders. I'm proud to be in Washington fighting for our families, and you can count on me. And I'm counting on you, because shoulder to shoulder, That's how we're going to improve the lives of working people everywhere, to give all of our families a fighting chance. So, thanks for everything you do. We're in this one together.